Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going to take a look at how we are going to convert an Figma prototype design into an HTML CSS website. Right, so I have this very simple portfolio design that I created in the last video or last two videos. If you want to check that out, I'll link it in the video description. So we are going to convert this prototype into an HTML CSS document or website. Right? And to do that, we will need a plugin from Figma. Right? So to add that plugin, we click on the weird button on the far left of the app, and then go to plugins. And we go to browse plugins in community. So it'll bring you to this page. Then go to plugins, then scroll down. You'll probably see this, right? Figma to HTML, CSS, React, and more. So what this does is it converts a Figma document or a Figma prototype design into an HTML, CSS, or a React Word document application, right? So that you can then publish onto the web for everybody to see. Right, so I click on install. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to click on the install. You can go ahead and click on that, and then we move on back to what the design. So how do we convert this entire design to HTML CSS? Well, it's quite simple. You just click on the frame of the design, then right click, then go to plugins. So we have plugins, and it will list out all the plugins that you have. Currently, I have avatars, feather icons, and a whole lot of others. Right? But we just need the Figma to HTML CSS. So we just click on that. So we wait for some few seconds to load up. So it gives us the options. So what do you want to do? You want to generate to a code or download the JSON of it. But all we just want to do, we want to generate the code. So let's click on generate code. So as you can see here, it processed and gave us a feedback that there are some errors that we need to deal with, right? And it has already been listed on the layers panel. You can resize that to see all that is needed. So basically what is saying that there are some components or design that we have done that needs to be converted to a particular format in order for it to be exported into a code. So one of these is, it says over here, let's look for wherever this item is. All right, so it's down here. So this red squiggly thing is saying that, let's see if we can resize this. So it says that needs to use auto layout or to be whatever that word is into an image. So basically what it's asking us to do is that the current format that this is in isn't suitable for export. So we need to convert it into an auto layout, which I'm going to use that in this video, or I want to convert it into an image so that can also be exported as it is. All right, so we are going to go through all these errors, take a look at them, try and fix them. The first thing we want to actually take a look at is what auto layout is, right? Auto layout basically just means that you are trying to reposition the elements in a more responsive manner. So let's say, for example, if you're on a mobile view, how would the elements on the page look like? If you're on the desktop, how would the elements on the page look like? So that kind of how it would auto layout your element based on any of those views. So we are going to see how auto layout actually is going to be implemented here. Right. So I'm going to take the navbar, which is basically the A code, home, services, about, contact, that sort of thing, right? We are going to convert that entire layout into an auto layout, right? So first, what we're going to do, I'm going to take these small elements over here and convert that into an auto layout. So to do that, we need to group that. So using Control G. So we've grouped that, or you can just right click and group it. And then you see an option over here says auto layout. So we just click on that and just convert that into an auto layout. Let's go to each of these various options, right? So for the auto layout, you can lay out the elements vertically. So in this case, this is how it will look like. All of them will be stacked on top of each other, or you can go by what horizontal layout, which is what we want. The other option here is the space between items. So we've grouped the item into a layout, and what amount of spacing do you want to give to each of the elements? That's what this is for. A pattern around items. So if you have the so each of the elements inside that layout, what's the pattern that I want to give to it? What's the pattern that I want to contain all these elements inside, so I can not overlap with other elements in the page. And then here we have the alignment and pattern, right? The alignment and pattern. So the pattern is basically just what I explained before, just that in this instance is been separated out to top pattern. I think there's right pattern, bottom pattern, left pattern, right? But a little box that we have here inside it is the alignment. So do you want to align it to the top left corner, or the top center, or the top right, or center here, or bottom left, bottom right? Whatever layer that you want to go, alignment that you want to go by, you can just go about that. So you position it. Then after, we have some few options here, right? So how do you want to how do you want each of these elements to interact with each other, right? So let's say, do you want to put all of the items together like in one separate portion, or do you want to separate them out to various spaces, right? Or separate them out from each other? They shouldn't be in contact with each other, which kind of what we want in this particular instance, because we don't want any of the elements to be packed together. So we just click on space between. So basically, you're not going to see any kind of change because it's already been space between. But I can see over here that the space between items has been changed to auto. So that means that when we resize these elements, the space will be automatically recalculated. We don't have to go about tweaking each of the portion ourselves. There's no need to do that anymore. All right. So basically, that's the whole deal about auto layout. So if you know anything about Flexbox in CSS, basically that's what the auto layout is. So you can just put two and two together and figure out what to do from there, right? So once you know about Flexbox, everything is just as easy as it comes. So I'm going to go through the entire prototype design and then convert all the relevant elements into an auto layout. Then from there, we move on to actually exporting the elements. Okay, so we are done converting almost everything into auto layout. So we're going to run the plugin again. So let's generate the code. Okay, so there are a few more errors that we need to take care of, and it's quite few compared to the previous one. So we need to take care of this, the errors over here. We need to convert these to auto layouts, and also the input forms to auto layout as well as these. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's fix these ones. Generate the code. Okay, so after generating the code, this is what we get. Very not a clear representation of the design that we made, but that's fine. We just want the most of the flesh and everything to be created, and then from there we can just get the code, right? So let's try and get the code. So we have to copy that into a clipboard and then paste that into an HTML file. So we create an index.html file, which is a file that we need for the website. Then we paste the code that we copied from the Figma into the HTML document. So as you can see, there's so many items written here, so many stuff that's going on here. So now I'm going to create a CSS file, which is a style sheet which we use to style all our websites, and we are going to copy all the code written for the styles and paste them here to make it very easy for us to edit. And then we are going to make a couple of changes here. As you can see, there's an error. So in CSS, the reason why we are having this error is because of the number that's written just after the the selector, the CSS selector. Okay, so now we go back to the HTML file and then add the head tags, right? So that we can link the HTML file to the CSS file. Copy the main code into the body. So you can see we are removing the 2021 written over there so that it won't be a number, it will actually be a text in order for it to work in CSS. So we link the file to the website, to the CSS file. So we open the website with live server, and as you can see, the website is extremely poor looking. This is one of the downsides of using these plugins, right? But it's actually a good starting point because from here you can just easily make some tweaks to it and then get the actual look and feel that you want from the from the prototype that you've made, right? So it's not completely useless, it just need a bit more refinement, but we are definitely getting there. So that's it for this video.